Hi, everyone. I'm Joanna. I'm the product marketing lead here at Birdie. Thanks so much for joining our webinar on how Birdie helps with resilient care planning. This topic is one we know is top of mind for many care agencies in our community, and it's been a key focus for our product and development teams. I'm looking forward to hearing from our team today and your questions and perspectives towards the end of the hour. Now let's get started. Just a few quick housekeeping notes before we dive in. We're recording today's session so you can revisit any information later. Please feel free to ask any questions in the Q&A throughout. We'll address them in our dedicated Q&A section towards the end. And after the webinar, we'll send you the full recording plus a free resilience checklist to help you evaluate your current system. Let's dive in. You'll be hearing from two speakers today. Sarah Carolshoni, our senior product manager, who has been building our care management domain, and Sean Gabriel, lead product manager, who works on our rostering solution. They'll tell you all about how Birdie supports care agencies when notice is short and stakes are high, and they'll do this by diving straight into the platform. We've packed today's sessions with key insights from our team and our community on how to build agency resilience, particularly in planning. We'll start with introductions, then dive into what resilience means and how we'll build and upgrade Birdie to support these agencies. We'll show you a live demo so you can see exactly how this works in practice, and you'll hear from some of our partner care providers about their real-world experiences. And as mentioned, we'll finish with that Q&A at the end and key takeaways. A quick intro if you haven't met us before. Birdie is technology that helps home care agencies work smarter, not just harder. We support over 1,000 care agencies today, and those agencies use Birdie's home care technology to deliver over 60 million visits just last year alone. Working smarter, not harder, basically means three things. With Birdie, you get everything and everyone working together. Birdie's a system that's built as one, so it works as one. Care management, scheduling, finance, and more are all together in one system. See everything and miss nothing. You can see your entire care operation at a glance with over 50 reports, so you won't miss a single thing. And you'll never feel alone again. You're not going to be left to get on with it. You'll get technical support that responds in less than 10 minutes, an advisor who will speak to you every quarter, as well as a community of peers who share learnings with. So what does all-in-one really mean? Birdie brings together all the core workflows agencies need: care management, rostering, quality, compliance, finance, and workforce management into one fully integrated platform. No syncing, no silos. With Birdie Analytics, insights span the full operation, turning data into strategic action. The agency hub centralizes planning and oversight. The care app supports real-time care with rotas, guidance, messaging, and logging. And the family app keeps loved ones informed and ready with read-only access to care updates. And we make three promises: true partnership, collaborative support and community-led development, reliability, and 99% uptime and secure, resilient tech, and built as one, so no bolt-ons, just one purpose-built system, 100% built by Birdie. So why are we here? We know from our partner agencies just how quickly things change in home care, from care illness to family emergencies, late registrations, care illness, high burnout rates in the industry, to everyday issues like meeting or transportation mishaps. We know that the stakes are high and quick adaptation is absolutely key. So what is this? So this is a webinar on resilient planning, but what do we mean by resilience? Resilient planning in home care, and how should tech support it? The dictionary definition of resilience is the capacity to withstand or to recover from difficulties quickly. But while care teams are constantly adapting, most systems haven't. Too many agencies are still relying on manual workarounds or worse, paper-based solutions just to keep people safe. Resilience in care means being able to plan ahead, respond fast, and stay in control with full oversight, even when everything's changing. And that's what today's session is about. Now, thank you for your time. I'll pass over to Sean to talk a little bit more about that agency input.
Great. Thanks so much, Gianna. So hi, everyone. Sean here. And yes, representing our product management team, I think it was important just to share a lot of the thinking that's gone into building a product that's not just for care providers like yourselves, but also building it with you at the same time. We've spent a lot of our efforts in standing up a co-development program that's made up of diverse partners from all across the care sector, and they have been very closely involved in the upgrades that we're going to be showing you today for our improvements into the new system. And every feature that we've actually gotten through this process it's come from agency feedback, challenges, and priorities. We've actually put together over 50 features into our new rostering system based on 300 hours of dedicated research that we've done with partners like yourselves across the entire life cycle of our product development. And so this has been a truly cross-functional effort involving members from our entire cross-functional team. And it's through the series of spending time with you, going to site visits, having customer calls, and doing a lot of dedicated user research that we've been able to validate our assumptions about how we're going to build the best product that helps you maintain resilience as an agency. So we can share just a bit of what we've heard from working with care providers like yourselves and what those needs have led to us evolving in our all-in-one product. We can go to the next slide. We've got a selection of some of the insights and quotes that we've found from the research that we've been doing. And really, it's come down to the fact that rostering just comes up as one of the most time-consuming and error-prone parts of running a care agency. When systems are clunky, they're disconnected, it can be very hard to trust. And we've heard so many different pieces of feedback on whether it's difficult to audit what's changing, if your marchards aren't fully up to date. This could cause safety issues. It could degrade the quality of care that you're providing. And a lot of this actually comes from problems in duplicating your data entry, delays between changes in what carers can see. There's a high risk of potential errors and no clear oversight. This was the kind of ethos that we took into building an all-in-one platform that really helps you with driving resilience as an agency. We don't want these things to fall through the cracks with agencies, and that's what we're trying to solve at Birdie. If we could go to our next slide. This is really what we are consolidating as our feedback for the upgraded rostering system, where it really sits at the heart of every care business. We've really distilled it into three major teams. The idea that templating is the foundation of providing predictable and repeatable patterns of care, and that's the key to unlocking scale and quality at an agency. The templating system that you use in your roster needs to be predictable and reliable every single time. That is the backbone of your care delivery operations. And rather than having to fight your roster to get what you want, we feel like templates really ought to be observable and in your control as a care manager, coordinator in your agency. Now, equally, that comes with a balance for speed and flexibility. We know every second counts when you're a busy, obvious team, and every second that you're spending fighting the system is a second that you're not spending looking after your team and delivering great care. So we know that flexibility and usability is paramount for a rostering system, and ultimately, too many clicks in a key workflow can add up to time that would be better spent elsewhere supporting your team. Coupling that with a bit more oversight, we want to make sure that coordinators have all the context they need to make the best scheduling decisions and making sure that you have full coverage across your agency. Putting those together, then, we built those into a safer, more flexible, and efficient roster that we wanted to now demo to you and show you how it empowers you as an agency to reliably plan for care in advance in a flexible and efficient way. That's kind of getting ahead of the care needs that you need to deliver, actually firefighting in the moment, making sure that you have safety and continuity in what you're actually delivering for your clients, and then making sure at the end of it that you can monitor and report on what happened. Be ready for any auditing requirements, compliance requirements, and having that full reconciliation through your entire system. So with that, I would love to show you a bit of what care planning looks like in advance in the new upgraded rostering system. So a quick preview before I switch over to my demo. One of the backbones I just mentioned earlier of a resilient care planning system is a flexible templating engine. We've got a great one to show you in our upgraded rostering product. And with the notion of flexible multi-week templates, we have now created a system where in Birdie, you can very quickly specify between 1 to 8 weeks how care is meant to repeat for a given client, and that will just tick on forevermore, changing rostering from a weekly occurrence you might have to do as an agency to more of a one and done setup. You can quickly plan for those weeks in advance and then see your roster automatically built based off of the care plans that you've set up. And that can be coupled with regular care assignments, so you can very quickly see how the actual roster is going to lay out for different carers in your agency. We've coupled that with great tools for showing where conflict detection or where conflicts might occur, and also with real-time previews for travel time, all the other things that might be relevant to ensuring a great quality delivery of your schedule. The next piece here, we also create some great tools to create one-off changes. So it's not just about having a great template, but it's also being able to adapt that template in advance. And we've got a great calendar tool that couples very well with the new templating improvements that we've made to make sure that you can quickly make those changes without disrupting the regular patterns of care. You can make those one-off changes directly from the client's calendar. And one more, the ability to assign carers immediately. This is really touching on that earlier point that I mentioned around great oversight and the right context to make scheduling decisions. we provide that ability to assign a regular care directly from the visit template. And then what you can see here is almost a real-time preview of what that'll look like with the availability for all your other carers and what they're doing within the agency. We couple that with a powerful set of filters, sorting and grouping to make sure that you can get the best allocation every single time, providing multiple carers, even for the most complex of care schedules that you need to deliver. So with that, why don't I show you what this looks like in the product? Um, I have got here a new client that's joined our agency at Birdie. Her name is Birdie. Um, we've taken her in just to be under our care. And so if you're kind of familiar with the high level Birdie, we've kind of set up her client profile at this point. We've completed some assessments to kind of define her care plan. And the tasks and medications we've set up for Birdie are kind of set up in the usual manner that you would see within Birdie. So we've got a number of things that we're going to support Birdie with, coming every day in the mornings, helping her to get out of bed, get some food, coming back in the afternoon for some walk. And then also we've got a little bit of variety in terms of like weekly tasks, bi-weekly tasks, medication that we've also provided to support Bridie's care needs. So having this as kind of the baseline of what we have set up for her, what we wanted to show you in our new all-in-one system is a consolidated activity template. And so this is taking all-in-one the set of tasks and medications that you have scheduled and grouping them into this set of what we call session-based activity lists. And so everything that I've just provided on those other screens is now being listed out based on the bundles that they happen in the day. So kind of in the morning, this is what the care plan is going to look like for that morning. We've got some of those weekly tasks that are happening on the lunch session. In the afternoon, here's everything combined in one place for what's going to happen in the afternoon. So this is going to give you much better visibility and a preview of what exactly carers are going to be seeing when they're going to be delivering these activities. This is a great place as well to make sure that you've got the order of things correctly. And so it's very easy within our system to make sure that actually we probably want to make sure that the prompt food happens before we have actually provided the medication. Maybe getting out of bed is the first thing that you do when you come in the morning. And so like that, we're actually specifying this is the repeating pattern of care and that actual delivery that's going to be happening for Bridie whenever somebody's coming to visit her for that morning. Now, what's interesting here is that this is a very activity-centric view of the world and kind of like what exactly needs to be done when we're looking after Bridie. That obviously needs to be coupled with visits that will help you actually deliver the plan that we provided here. And so we've also paired the activity template with a visit template, which again is going to show you how to establish that baseline of care and what the patterns are that should be happening for this particular client. As we mentioned earlier, the template length can vary depending on how often you want those visit schedules to recur and how often we are going to be changing up the plan. In this case, it makes sense for Bridie to have a 2-week schedule. So we have some biweekly tasks, and I'd also like to show you what it looks like to have an alternating care assignment. So we've now set up a 2-week template that I can see for Bridie. Today is Wednesday, July 30th. And so we're actually on week 2 of the template right now. You can just see this little indicator just reminding us where we are in the webinar right now. I'm going to go ahead and start setting up those visits so we know when exactly we're going to start planning care for Bridie. So at this point, I'm now going to set up a number of visit schedules. These are all independently scheduled and planned, but we can create them in bulk, again, trying to save you time as an agency and making sure that you can very quickly set up that repeatable pattern of care all in one place and having all the context you need to make that decision. So just with a single click of a button, I've created all of these additional schedules that are going to populate daily visits for Bridie. We can set those up, let's say, from 8 to 9. And I think in this case, let's say that actually Bridie's care is going to start on Friday. We're just getting her set up and we want to make sure that everything goes smoothly from there. One of the great features in our upgraded rostering system is the fact that I can now preview in real time how that's actually going to line up with the template. And so I can see, well, I've said that the start date for care is going to be August 1st. And now I can know that that's happening on week 2 of the Friday based on the template that we've set up. This is when our daily visits would be happening. I can feel pretty confident before I've even committed any changes to the system, I'm going to get exactly what I'm expecting when I'm putting that through here. We've also set up a little bit of client funding. If you know how Bridie's care is going to be paid for, one of the benefits of an all-in-one system is that it's very easy to get this going from the onset. We're going to just go with a single attendee visit for now. But again, the work that we've just put into linking those activity lists means that it's very easy to now get a real-time preview of what's going to be happening on those mornings. So by linking the session that I've set up in the previous page of knowing what's happening in the morning, I can now see this is the list of tasks that are going to be delivered as part of this visit schedule. We've got the order that we specified before. Getting out of bed happens first. Paracetamol comes a little bit later. Laundry is going to be a bi-weekly task that we look at. I'm going to go ahead and create that now. And based on that, we've got Birdie's template populated for the mornings. We've got this morning task ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and do the same just to get the afternoon visits going. These can happen in the late afternoon, 4 p.m., starting from August the 1st, and I can pop in the afternoon activities. And again, we've got those all planned and lined up. And I can double check again that the first occurrence dates are ready to go here. Go ahead and call these for home health as well. Last step, now that we've got all these setting up, I'm going to go ahead and set up some alternating carers for the visit schedules. By clicking to assign a regular carer here and filtering to the group that Birdie's in, I can see very quickly a real-time preview of who's available on that given day. Actually, I've got one of my colleagues here on annual leave, so probably wouldn't be a good person to pick, but I can pick myself. By making that regular assignment for this weekend, I can go ahead and set up myself to work a week 1, and maybe one of my other colleagues who is available for week 2. Well, let's just pretend that Malika is available. Based on that, I can very quickly show you on the visit calendar that starting from the 1st of August, we have care happening. On the first weekend, Malika's available. On the second weekend, it's going to be myself taking over that plan. As we mentioned, we can also create one-off visits if necessary, if we wanted to get something ready earlier than the template says. So that's just a very quick overview of what we've got to show you in our upgraded rostering system here. Sarah's going to go into a lot more detail about what it looks like in the moment when you're making changes to the plans as they're coming together. So I will go ahead and pass back to you.
Thank you, Sean. Yes, perfect. So now let's look at the second pillar of resilience, firefighting. So when things change last minute, as we all know that they will, you need your system to help you respond quickly and safely. Guardrails can greatly help to prevent risky actions and assignments that can happen when you're moving fast and you don't have all the necessary context. So they help you respond to changing client needs and changing care availability and ultimately reduce the risk of missed visits. So we'll walk through how and where these guardrails show up in Birdie and that help you respond to these changes and give you the context that you need to reduce the missed visits risk. So a key challenge in home care is ensuring that the right tasks and medications are set up to be delivered in the right visits. So with Birdie, you can easily assign and adjust medication or task lists for each client and their schedules, as Sean showed you earlier. And you can then easily check them by reviewing these organized lists for a given client in the new activity calendar in a clear visual format, which I'll go into in the product in a demo in a moment. You can skip individual tasks and medications that are no longer needed for the carer to deliver. And then these won't appear in the list, in the task and medication list in the carer app. And most importantly, if you're making changes to the visit plan and perhaps miss a step or get an urgent call halfway through that means you don't quite finish what you were doing, conflict detection has your back. So it instantly highlights if an activity list or list of tasks and meds hasn't been connected to a visit schedule, or if a visit doesn't contain any tasks or medications, which can really help to prevent any dangerous gaps in care. We also know that making last-minute changes to visit times can be needed regularly for a number of reasons, and so this has to be easy. But it isn't just a case of moving the visit. It's really important to check that the tasks and medications that are due to be delivered in that visit still make sense at the new time. So is there a medication that needs to be administered at an exact time? Is there a task that no longer makes sense to complete at the end of the day? Birdie gives you the context that you need to help ensure that the right care is being delivered to the client at the right time, even in a fast-paced changing environment. And crucially, every change that you make reflects instantly in the carer app. So no delays, no sync issues, no missed updates, because when you're firefighting, seconds matter. And as we know, client needs aren't the only things that can change on the dime. Carers get sick, have changing availability, and you need to react fast to ensure that your clients get the care that they need. So in Birdie, if you update the carer availability in the system, such as working hours, for example, any visits that are assigned to the carer outside of those working hours will be automatically unassigned. And then you can clearly see those visits in the unassigned section of the roster ready to be reassigned. We also make it easy for you to see when a visit has been assigned to a carer at a time that conflicts with their availability using visual cues. So you can identify the conflict type. Is it because the carer is absent in that time? Is there an overlapping visit, working hours, a working hours issue, or potentially even a travel time problem? It gives you the context that you need to resolve it and, again, prevent a missed visit. And then when you need to find replacement coverage, you can quickly identify alternate carer availability using our filters and groups. So next slide, please. Awesome. So yeah, you can filter by location, area, or capability. And the system helps you to assign the visit to resolve the conflict. And so there's no more scrambling through spreadsheets or making phone calls. Birdie makes quick changes easy and intuitive. And I'm going to show you how this works in the product now. So I will just share now. So let me show you how this works in practice. So here we are back with our client Birdie Buchanan, and we are on the activity calendar, and you can see the tasks and medications are laid out really clearly for you to see on at a week view. What happens in the morning, what happens in the afternoon, grouped by activity list. You can see the morning activities are linked to that 8 till 9 visit that Sean scheduled earlier. The afternoon one is linked to that 4 to 5 p.m. visit. So yeah, super easy for you to see what's going to happen and double check that the right care has been delivered at the right time. You can easily skip a task just by clicking on this icon here. Same for medication, and you can save changes to skip. This is, in case you sort of have an instance where, for whatever reason, a particular task or med doesn't need to be administered for a certain day, it won't then flow through to the carer app, so it won't show up on their task list. Something like that we're working on at the moment as well is allowing you to include reasons for skipping, and that way, for auditing purposes, you can have a really clear paper trail of decision making and why something wasn't needed for a certain day. And particularly for medications, this will flow through to the MAR chart. Again, really, really helpful for that medication audit. So this is your control room for making sure that all the right tasks and meds are being delivered on the right day at the right time. And another really important aspect of this page is conflict detection. So as I mentioned earlier, you've got those ways to make sure that to be aware that those conflicts exist. So you can see the notification here on the left-hand side bar, and up here in the drop down, you've got 2 conflicts in the upcoming 2 weeks, and it tells you when those are. So you've got one on the 31st of July, one on the 10th of August. So if we take a look at the 31st of July, you can see it here. This would have been the one-off visit that Sean created. He didn't link it to any tasks or medications. So we've got a visit that doesn't have any activities in it. So risk here is the carer shows up and doesn't have an idea of what they need to do on that visit. So it tells you really clearly that there is a conflict, what kind of conflict it is, and how to resolve it, and to go and edit, go and add a one-off visit and edit the one-off visit to add tasks and meds to it. Now let's go to the 10th of August. You can see there's the lunch activity list here with a couple of activities that haven't got a visit linked to it. So again, it highlights that the list is not linked to a visit, and it tells you that you need to go and create a visit schedule or a one-off visit and link these activities to it to make sure that they'll be delivered. Next, I'm going to show you the visit calendar, how easy it is to move a visit. Let's say you're going to move it from 4 p.m. and I'll move it to the evening. These ones are skipped. I'll do this one. Yeah, so it prompts you to make sure that the activities that are linked within that visit are still appropriate to be delivered at that later time or whatever time you move it to. And so to review each of these activities before saving those changes, you can either keep them connected or you can deselect it, meaning that those activities will stay where they are and your visit will move, leaving those activities behind. And you want to go and add other activities for that particular visit. But in this case, I'm going to keep them connected and save changes. And now if I was to go in and view the visit details, you'll see that the visit is at that new time and those activities are still linked to it. Next, I want to show you the care availability changes that I mentioned. So if we go back to the visit template, you can see that Sean is assigned. Actually, I think we'll put Sean also on the Saturday. Yeah, there we go. So we've assigned Sean to the Saturday. So let's say that Sean no longer can do Saturdays. He's let you know that that's not a day for him to do anymore. So we could go in to Sean's profile and look at his availability, and he's now taken Saturday off the agenda. And so when you do that, it highlights to you that by deleting his availability schedule on that day, any visits he's assigned to in that time frame will be unassigned. So I'm going to apply that to all future instances. And now let's just go back here, just see, give that a refresh. Oh, let's see, that didn't save. There we go, it's gone. So now if I was to go to Birdie and go to the visit template, actually I deleted both Saturday and Sunday. I think I did both just then by accident. But yeah, so you can see both of those visits have been unassigned because Sean is now no longer available for those days. And so it ensures that there isn't a conflict there. But if I wanted to go and reassign, so let me just go back and you can see here, so Sean is unassigned from these ones, and Malika, there we go, Malika is assigned to those, Sean is unassigned. If I wanted to go in and assign another carer, firstly, you can filter, see your carers by availability, by groups, if you wanted to see carers from a certain location, for example, and see who's available. I can see these carers in this group, none of them are available, but let's see what happens if I do try and allocate somebody that is unavailable at that time frame. You'll notice here there's a little notification letting you know that there's a conflict, and if you view the visit, it highlights to you what the conflict is. So this is scheduled outside of the carer's available working hours, and just to make you aware of that, and we highlight it to you there. I'm going to show you what that looks like on the roster, because let me just remove this filter actually. This is our demo environment. There are a lot of conflicts. We wouldn't expect your roster to look like this, but it's useful to be able to show you how we present conflicts to you. So you can see that actually you can filter by rostering conflicts. It tells you how many carers have conflicts, and then you can filter it down into types of conflict. So visits booked outside of availability is one. And so you can go there, see all of these instances, and then you can rearrange it such that there aren't conflicts anymore. And this really helps to prevent the instance of a carer being assigned to a visit they can't make, and therefore resulting in a missed visit. So it really helps to reduce that risk. Great, thank you so much. And with that, I think I'll be handing over back to Sean.
Very cool. Thank you, Sarah. Me again. I think we want to just cover with everybody what we see as like the third pillar of resilient care agency, which is really around having the oversight to see and make confident decisions, knowing exactly what's happened and what's been going according to plan, making sure you can prove your quality of care when it matters. So if we go to the next slide. When we say Birdie is an all-in-one platform, we don't just mean that it's got everything and it has loads of features. We mean that all of these workflows, as you've seen through our demos, are actually built together as a unified platform, whether it's how the roster connects to care management, into finance, quality and compliance. These have all been built by the same team and really for the same purpose, which is to serve you and your operations. That means no syncing delays, no bolt-on products, no clunky handovers between these systems. Everything works together in real time. And because it's been built together, the insights are as well. And so Birdie Analytics is really how we try to bring together care, rostering, finance, and quality data in one place. You can see those patterns, understand context, and make better decisions. And we want to show you very quickly what that looks like in practice. Earlier this year, we released 3 Pulse dashboards for care management, finance, and people and performance. And these were, again, through a similar ethos of co-development built with your feedback in mind, trying to surface what are the top priorities for your operational metrics, all in one convenient view. And so we wanted these dashboards to really provide performance snapshots for you to help you audit and keep up with your management and get your teams to be more data-driven. The Pulse dashboard for care management, what you're seeing here, is providing you that bird's eye view for trends in your care delivery. You can see patterns around cancellations, what the impact would be on your finances, looking at visit punctuality and duration, prioritizing concerns by risk level. You can see complaints and compliments with subsequent actions, understand your scheduled hours in real depth. There's a lot of information to take in here. This is really one of the powers of having a built as one system that things can come together. We go to the next. There we go. So we also wanted to spend some time talking about how we provide better accuracy in reflecting the work of carers and providing real-time visibility into care attendance, progress, and punctuality. There's so many tools that are supported not just by our analytics proposition, but also built into the product. Like, for example, here you can see a list of the client feed and just events and activities that are associated with the client and the care that they've been receiving, as well as the ability to look at the care feed, which shows the same for what's happening for members of your team. Those tie together into the care log, and that is all provided together as a way for us to actually make sure that you can audit and evidence the quality of your care. Those alerts have also been integrated into the product real time. That will let you know if there's anything that's arrived, a visit's not started in time, if somebody checked in to the wrong location, and then you can respond in real time as the folks behind the scenes at the agency. Go to the next. Finance is obviously the backbone of your operations in the sense that if carers are not getting paid, if you're not charging correctly for the care that you're delivering, ultimately, you're not going to be able to sustain and grow a resilient business. And so by having deep integration of the finance elements into our rostering and care management platform, we try to make it much easier for you to run your payroll and invoicing in a way that is deeply connected with the events that have happened in the roster. You can see any visits that have gone according to plan, any discrepancies that might have happened, all provided through a visit confirmation interface. And that is kind of pulling data from the roster as well as providing data back into the care plans that you are setting up. As I showed very quickly in the demo, you can change client funding just in a simple click because you've set that up and you've actually provided the contracts and the billing information for your clients up front. And then having all these things work together means that plugs into our Pulse dashboards and shows you some of those operational metrics that can really help you see where you're trending and growing as a business, all happening in real time as part of the integrated product. And so, yes, that is for us, I think, 3 big pillars of a resilient care planning and care operations system. I'm going to hand back over to Sarah to tell you the numbers and what that looks like from an impact perspective.
Yes, so we've told you all about the updates to Birdie that help our all-in-one offering support agency resilience. But what's the impact that we've seen so far? We wanted to share that with you today. So we tested this, we did some time trials against well-known competing solutions, and Birdie reduced client schedule time by 75%. We reduced carer identification and assignment by 40%, so making sure that the right carers that are available can be assigned to the visits, the changing visits based on schedules. And we cut activity setup time by 40%. And that not only includes the planning, so setting it up like Sean showed you earlier, but also making changes later down the line based on client needs that we know do happen. And so that's a huge amount of change and an improvement. And we know how precious care agency time is and how stretched you all are. So with that, a significant improvement all round. Just think about what you could do with those savings in time. So with that, I will hand back over to Jo.
Thanks so much, Sarah. You've all heard from the Birdie team. Let's hear a little bit about what our community of agency partners thinks. So one of our partners recently switched to the new rostering solution and just had so many positive things to say about the impact on their team's operations. Our colleague Megan, who works in the onboarding team, had a conversation with him recently, and we'll just let him speak for himself in his own words in just a moment.
Fantastic. So hi everyone, my name is Megan. I am one of the onboarding managers here at Birdie with one of our lovely partners, Caring Neighbour. If it's all right, Matthew, would you briefly introduce yourself and also your role within the company?
Yeah, so I'm Matthew Simmons. I'm Director of Caring Neighbour. We set up in October 2021, and with the aim to support people in being independent in their own homes.
Brilliant, thank you. And what was your main reasons for wanting to join Birdie and join an all-in-one system?
I think as we've grown, over the last 4 years, there's a lot of paperwork involved, and we spent a lot of time printing and organising, and there's certainly a cost to that. We wanted to use the Birdie app to sort of streamline everything that we do, and whether that be the rotas, invoicing, the care plans, the MAR sheets, having everything on an app is just saving us so much time.
Amazing. And I know that a lot of your previous processes were, as you said, kind of paper-based or quite manual. Is there anything in particular that really stands out as a benefit of having an all-in-one system, or kind of the biggest impact to any of these processes?
The biggest impact, obviously, for us at the moment is scheduling. Having fixed templates that we can send to the girls' phones is made a massive difference. Probably saved us 4 or 5 hours a week on just scheduling, and because we have as well as regular visits, we have ad hoc stuff. We taking people to hospital appointments, or and as such as that. The other thing that saved a lot of time is the printing of stuff that we would have to keep printing. So we were printing MAR sheets, delivering them to people's houses, feedback sheets and such. And again, now because that's all on the app, we don't have any of that. So again, that saves us a lot more time, and it gives us more time to spend with our clients rather than sitting behind a computer.
Amazing, thank you. And I know obviously your background was quite involved in already using tech, and you've managed to set yourself up really, really effectively and very quickly. In terms of the user experience, how would you kind of describe how it's been interacting with the platform, and kind of any positives or takeaways from it from your journey so far?
User experience has been fantastic. I think the onboard meetings that we have once a week have been really, really helpful. I know initially, I had a login on a Friday and I almost started using it on the Saturday. But I think that with the onboard meetings, and then the list of jobs or tasks to go through, and then set things up in a particular way, so straightforward and so easy, that even somebody who wouldn't be computer literate, wouldn't have a problem, I wouldn't say. The training videos, the help, and the everything that's on there on the platform is made it sort of a really easy process.
Oh, brilliant. I'm really, really pleased to hear that. And thank you so much for the feedback as well. Obviously really pleased with that. But do you have, just last question, what would you say if somebody asked you, what is your favourite feature that you've encountered so far on Birdie?
Favorite feature for me so far is obviously the scheduling. And I know that's a new part for you guys, but that has been fantastic. And again, the electronic MAR sheets and stuff like that. Being able to see it and see everything instantly. Whether it be on the phone of what everybody's doing, that's been perfect.
Amazing. Well, look, really excited for your continued journey with us, but thank you so much for the feedback, Matthew, and I'll stop the recording there.
That was the kind of feedback we built this product for, so glad to hear that from Matthew. Another bit of feedback we got from a customer who recently upgraded to the new rostering solution. She mentioned that the previous way of working, going from one system to another, was, as she put it, a bit schizophrenic. She mentioned that it was easy to forget to put data in both and very time-consuming. She was really happy with how perfect Birdie was for care planning, and really loved that there were things she could do within the product for her team and carers that she couldn't do in the old rostering system. She was really excited about how synchronized everything was, the strong visuals, the time savings, and the cost effectiveness. And once again, this is precisely why we built this solution. We're really thrilled with the kind of feedback we got and the sort of results that Sarah mentioned. Now, a quick recap. In terms of everything we've discussed today, There's so much power in an all-in-one solution. It supports care resilience in the following ways. And just as a reminder, care resilience is about efficient planning. It's about that effective firefighting and prevention. And it's about that ability to monitor and have full oversight over all workflows. All-in-one saves you time, it helps improve quality, it drives efficiency, and overall improves accuracy in alerts, reporting, and care compensation. Thank you so much for your attention today. We'll be emailing you that resilience checklist we mentioned to help you evaluate your own system for its sort of capabilities in terms of resilience. And without further ado, we'll open the floor up to questions. But before we do, actually, would any of you, based on what you've seen today, like a personalized demo to ask any further questions of our team about what an all-in-one solution could do for you? If you feel that that's something you would benefit from, please just type yes in the chat right now, and we will reach out to you within the following week. Thank you so much, and please feel free to ask any questions in the chat and the Q&A. And thank you to our speakers. First question I see. Sarah or Sean, happy to have either of you answer this one. What support would I get when switching if I wanted to upgrade to the new rostering solution? What support can I expect?
Yeah, happy to take that one. I guess when it comes to rolling out a new system, we know it's something that needs to be done thoughtfully and not one that you want to just click on a switch and have everything up and running. We've invested a lot of time into our onboarding training materials. We have plenty of help center articles, guidance, and implementation plans that are there to help support you on every step along the way. You're always, of course, very welcome to be in touch with our Birdie support team. And we're very committed to helping our early adopters of the upgraded rostering platform and getting successful care delivery up and running. So we know that the visit templates can be a bit new and are going to require a bit of fine tuning to make sure that they work with your agency, but that's something we're very committed to doing. That's why we keep talking about partnership with our agencies, making sure that you can get the most value out of the product and that you're fully equipped to get it running without any disruption to your operations.
Fab, thank you so much, Sean. One more question I see. How would I use this, so I guess the upgraded rostering, to evidence when auditing? How would I evidence using the rostering product?
I can take this one. We've got a ton of areas in Birdie that you can use to support with auditing. There's the care log, which shows you for each visit what happened. You can see what tasks and medications were completed, the observations, and you can see everything, all the notes that the carer put in. Equally, for, as mentioned earlier, the MAR chart enables you to see exactly what medication was administered and when, what the outcome was, and any notes against that as well. So all of the new sort of rostering features that you show here also come with really strong kind of auditing features to make sure at any given point you can go through and see exactly what happened in those visits.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Another question I see here is about care roles. You mentioned different care roles. What are the care roles available to be assigned?
Yeah, I mean, we got a little bit of time. I'd be happy to show that. We had to kind of breeze through it in the demo. But yeah, Carer Roles is a capability that we wanted to make a very strong component of the new rostering system. So let's just go back to Birdie's calendar, what we were looking at, and setting up some of these visits here. In Birdie, it's very easy for you to go ahead and create multi-care visits. And the way to do that is just by, in this panel for setting up the schedule for a visit, adding another attendee. When you've got multiple attendees available on a visit, you can quickly change the role of the attendees that are going to be coming. So we've got these other folks that are available. You know, if somebody was coming in just to shadow, or maybe this is an introductory attendee because they only they haven't met Birdie before. Another great feature in the upgraded rostering system is the ability to change the timings for individual attendees. So that they only need to be there for part of the visit. So if actual care is going to be taking the full hour, we only need the introductory role for the first half hour. That's totally easy to set up. When I go ahead and commit that change, that's going to show up in real time here. You can see that the visit has now been allocated for the full hour, but we've got that IN, which is kind of showing that different role, and it's only for the first half hour of the visit. And so I can then go and make sure that that is where I expect it to be on the roster. We go back to Birdie's group. Can see the one unassigned visit on the Thursday that we've set up. There's actually an hour and 30 minutes because we've added the two attendees to that visit. So you can see Friday's visit here. And now I've got everything filtered down. I can see who has availability that day. I'll go ahead and say that Amy is going to be the one providing the normal care. And because I am new to being her regular care, I will be there as the introductory visit. And so just like that, I've gone ahead and assigned the multi-carers and the different roles in real time. And then those are going to be pushed through to the care app for Amy and myself so that we know when we're going to go see Birdie.
Thanks so much, Sean. Another question here about filters and groups. How much control do I have in making my own groups? What exactly kind of choice do I have in terms of filters? Maybe you could kind of explain and show exactly the kind of options that are there.
Yeah, we can hop back in one more time. So I was just using them quite quickly. But another powerful concept in the new roster is the idea of stackable filters, I guess. So if I want to really zero in on the folks that are best equipped to deliver care, I can make use of the different filters. And we have in this demo been using groups just because, as Sarah mentioned, this is like one of our internal environments. We've got a number of different groups that are available here. So if you wanted to get a broader view, you can multi-select for multiple groups and see just your roster filtered down to the folks that are available in those groups. You can combine that with other filters, like, for example, the conflict filters that Sarah mentioned during her demo, availability. So, for example, we know that Ed here is on annual leave for quite some time. If I stack the available filter onto that, he's going to disappear from view because he's not available, because he's actually on annual leave right now. And so group capability is something you can assign multiple groups to a carer, and we have a single group assignment per client, and Birdie is then clearly in the central group. Group management is something that you can set up separately and then associate to clients and carers as part of their profile. So if I were to go to Birdie's profile, I believe it is in the admin settings for her. Yeah, that her group is available here. I can quickly change that if necessary if we wanted to move her to a different group and just select from the other ones that are available. So these groups, they can be set up by an agency admin at any time, and then they flow through kind of as expected and can be used here in the roster as part of your filtering.
Thank you so much for that answer, Sean. And then the last question was just about sort of the customization and alerts. What kind of customizations are available in terms of making sure that the alerts are giving the kind of information that the particular agency wants to know?
So in the inbox, this is kind of your control room where you have full visibility of everything, all the alerts that are coming in. A really powerful feature here is the filtering to really zone in on the type of alerts that you really care about seeing and what you want to prioritize. So by default, you can easily just click onto action needed, in progress, and resolved, so you can see those, any actions that are assigned to you or due on a certain day. But certainly if you click on more filters, you have really granular alerts for sort of filters for the alerts. So you can see which ones are either high severity, medium severity, or low, any medication alerts, visit alerts. So the idea is that we don't filter it by default, just to make sure you've got that full visibility. But then you can then drill in on the things that you really care about so that you can really focus your time and maybe even delegate different alerts to different people depending on their roles to make that super clear for you. Same goes for actions. So you can have a look and see which ones are to do or in progress. And you can also assign tags to actions too, which can be configured by you, meaning that a certain type of action might be higher priority, and therefore you can zone in on those actions, assign those to different people, or delegate the kind of monitoring of certain tags to different people as well.
Great, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarah. I don't seem to see any more questions. In that case, on behalf of the entire Birdie team, thanks to all our attendees, and thank you, of course, to our speakers. Once again, if there's anything that you'd like further information around, please mention this in the chat or email Rachel directly at rachel.lyon@birdie.care. Thank you very much, and we'll be sending those resources to you shortly. Have a lovely day.